Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us on Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. I'm Angela Green in for Shonda Knight. And Sheriff, we made it through Thanksgiving. One thing I love, though, is sitting down talking to my daddy about all things law enforcement. And, you know, he kind of thinks I'm an expert about stuff. And you know what I try to talk to him about? His wallet.
Oh, okay. Maybe you're an expert about that. His wallet.
His
Only
wallet.
His wallet.
I try to be. But I really want him, you know, they're getting older. And I think one of the things that a lot of people have problems doing is talking to their older parents about money and keeping their wallet safe.
Well, obviously, it's that time of year.
Yeah.
The holidays are here. We've got all kinds of scam artists out there in our community that are waiting to prey on whomever they can. And as you just mentioned, the elderly are sometimes an easy target for those scammers out there. So we want to talk today about what we can do to help those communities, those folks out there in those communities harden themselves against scammers and other types of crimes that take place during the holiday season. We know too that we'll have more burglaries, more car thefts, more car break-ins. All those things happen during the holiday season. So we got to get our citizens here in Leon County prepared for this holiday season. Not only be merry and have happiness, but also be aware that there are folks out there trying to take happiness away from you.
Yeah, throughout the show, we'll have all kind of different things talking about that. We'll see how our host team operates out there with the homeless population. And also on the back side of the show, we'll talk about giving back, because that's definitely important for our neighbors, just checking on your neighbors this time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we talk about it, and it's no cliche when we say we're all in, and it does take an entire community working together, and it's small things like that, just looking out for your neighbor, checking when they go on a vacation, particularly during the holiday season. If they're away, go by and check on the house and pick up the newspapers, make sure they don't pile up there at the door. Those simple things.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One thing, are you doing all your shopping online this year?
I almost do all of it online, yeah.
Sheriff, you do?
Yes.
Oh, that is very interesting. You know, I sit up there and I look at, you know, my outfits. I don't go to the club anymore, but I know so many people that share all these nice outfits and even stuff from like Home Depot out there that are too good to be true. So I'm looking forward to hearing these tips from our sergeant and our financial crimes unit about just ways to keep safe.
Well, I only do Amazon, so that's probably the safest place to be as far as I'm concerned.
All those
I shouldn't give them a plug out here on our show, but I just did.
Well, there are so many resources out there for people to shop, and I'm really looking forward to getting these safety tips. So coming up next, we're going to give you details on all of these realities dealing with financial crimes and scams. And if you're having problems talking to your older parents or even your college students about how to keep their wallet safe, we got everything you need to know. Stay with us after the break.
Good morning. I'm Captain Jimmy Goodman with the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and this is your Crime Tip Tuesday. ATM safety. Choose your ATM carefully. Avoid nighttime transactions. Always be aware of your surroundings. Lock your doors at drive-through ATMs. Look for card skimmers. Cover your hand while entering your PIN number. Do not count money at the ATM. Have a great week. Stay safe out there.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Sergeant Joe Lacerra of the LCSO Financial Crimes Unit. Joe, the topic today is about holiday crimes and financial crimes in particular, and scams. How prevalent out there in our community are those type crimes, and what can citizens do about it?
Well, first of all, I mean, financial crimes is not just a holiday season type crime. It is all year long. There's different types of schemes and scams that do happen at different times of the year, but it is prevalent. Our caseloads are high right now. We do have people reporting different kinds of crimes, whether it be identity theft from having somebody use it to file unemployment fraud or go ahead and doing tax refunds. We have cases where people are being scammed out with the fake warrant scams and everything else. We have credit card fraud. We have every type of fraudulent type schemes coming across our desk every day. The big one that we're having right now is people are going ahead and putting checks in the mailbox, and they're going into the blue box. And people have stolen them throughout the mail process, whether at their end point or some other point. So that's a big one we're having now too.
Well, who's the most vulnerable out there in our community? Which is the easiest target for financial crime scammers to actually focus on and be successful?
Well, that varies, Sheriff. That varies through different aspects. As far as your scam victims, that would go ahead and be your elderly population, because they are more susceptible to becoming a victim, as they are more believable. They believe things that are told to them. It's the old school way of growing up where they trusted leaving their doors unlocked to their house. And so it's hard to go ahead and convince them that things are not as what they see and what they appear. And we try to give them guidance. We've had several victims who think that they are dating somebody they met online who is a famous person. And we break the news to them that they are not doing such. So they fall for things a lot more easier than others because they are more susceptible, and it goes back to the old school ways of believing what's told to you. You also have college kids and teenagers that fall for different things also, as they think, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm just gonna make a quick dollar. So you have the two spectrums of the young and the old that are the easier to fall for things. And the middle-aged hopefully can go ahead and spread the word to both parties on how to safeguard and not become a victim.
Yeah. What are some of the things, Joe, that you mentioned some just now, but what are some of the other things that we would like to see citizens do? I heard you on another discussion talking about educating our kids about money, how to deal with money, how to handle money. What kind of training or advice can we give to citizens out there, particularly during the holiday season, to make sure they don't become victims?
Well, as far as the kids go and all that, go ahead and talk to your local banking institution that you bank with, whether a credit union or a bank. Talk to them. Most of them offer programs to go ahead and teach the youth on how to go ahead and properly manage a bank account, what the pros and cons are to it, and how to avoid becoming a victim and make sure you're doing things properly. That's a free service most of these institutions offer, so that would be good. I recommend that people go ahead and communicate with their elderly parents and make sure that they're checking on them. If your relative has signs of Alzheimer's, dementia, or anything else like that, make sure you go ahead and try to get power of attorney if it is necessary to make sure you protect their financial assets so they don't become a victim from anyone else or from giving away their money. Those are simple little things they can do.
You talked about holiday season, little things they can do. Are there things they can do with their credit cards? How can they protect their credit cards from being part of that whole scam?
Well, most people use credit cards or debit cards now to pay for things. Some places don't even take cash anymore. If you go to a sporting event or a concert, most of them say credit card, debit card only. My recommendation is, especially if you're traveling, use a credit card. The reason being is if you use your credit card, you're not going ahead and using your physical money from your checking account. You're using the credit company's money and you go ahead and repay it. But if there is a loss due to fraud, then it's their money being compromised, easier to dispute, and it doesn't tie up your money being taken out of your checking account, which is, it belongs to you. So make it easier on you to protect yourself.
Yeah, Joe, real quickly, there are a lot of people that call up on the phone and say they're from somewhere and they're trying to get you on the phone to give them your credit card number and talk about a purchase you perhaps made. What kind of advice you give citizens in those circumstances?
Don't provide information. One of the biggest things that people do on those situations is, I want to talk to you about your Amazon order. Amazon's never going to call you. They're going to say credit card company or bank is calling you and want to discuss a fraudulent charge and they need to get information. Don't talk to them. If you want to talk to your bank to verify that, go on the back of your card, debit card and credit card. The customer service line is on there. Call them, push the fraud button, and ask to speak to somebody in the fraud department to verify the claims.
Great information, Joe. Coming up, we'll have more details about scams and crimes and what you should do if you've been a victim of identity theft. Stay with us. We're back with Sergeant Joe Lacerra. Joe, what kind of scams and crimes are most common during the holiday season?
Well, Sheriff, one of the biggest crimes that you face is you're going to have your credit card fraud and your debit card fraud. You're using it to buy gifts throughout the season, making online purchases, you're traveling to see family, or family's traveling to see you. If you're traveling, you're going to go ahead and get gas at one of the gas stations. Well, they have skimmers that the bad guys like to go ahead and put into the credit card machines. And that is a way that your credit card number or debit card number can be compromised. And as soon as it's compromised, they can go on a full shopping spree right then and there, whether online or make counterfeit cards. So that's one of the ways that people become victims during the holiday season.
Joe, let me interrupt you there. How can a citizen determine that there's a skimmer on the pump when they're there to get gas? How can they figure that out?
Well, my personal recommendation is there's no way to 100% know, okay? So I'll say that. But the best recommendation I can tell you is what I do is you go up to the machine itself where you put your credit card into, go ahead and pull on the outer part where you would slide the credit card into, just pull on it and make sure it doesn't move. Some of the skimmers are external where they would attach on there, and that's one way to test. You also go to majority of the gas stations now, they have the security strips that go around the machine.
Yeah.
There are different colors for different gas companies and all that, but Circle K, for instance, theirs is red. It's a seal. If the seal is broken, don't use it. That's a simple rule. If the seal is broken, don't use it.
Okay.
There's other things that happen too when you're making online transactions. One of the big things going on is social media.
Right.
So a lot of things you see for sale, whether on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever else, you can go ahead and see people posting things for sale on there. Well, if you click on those links, go ahead and put your information in there thinking you're buying something legitimately, it might not be legitimate on there. The best thing you can do when you're making an online purchase is go ahead and look for the secure lock feature that'll be on the URL bar, on the address bar. That way you make sure it's a secure website. Make sure there's no malware or anything else that will get on there. But also know what websites you're purchasing from. Don't just click on a random link on social media and purchase from a random no-name company. Purchase from the known trusted companies that you know you can verify and know that you have done business with before.
Now, is that the same, Joe, with respect to commercials or mail you receive from companies that say, you know, buy from us? Is that the same kind of recommendation you'd give our citizens out there to stay away from those folks?
I would recommend that our folks go ahead and just buy from trusted people.
Yeah.
Know who you're spending your money with. Know who you're putting your information out there to. Because your credit card number and your debit card number, that is your personal identifying information. It is only assigned to you. So be careful who you're putting it out there to.
Now, what about the elderly? I talked about that previously. What are some of the special things that we work on, or we recommend that the elderly citizens out there, particularly during the holiday season, what are some of the things that they can do to make sure they keep themselves safe?
Well, make sure you're checking in on them. I mean, communication. I mean, that's the biggest thing nowadays. Not just send them a text message or an email. Actually go by and check on them, see how things are. If you know that they are a vulnerable adult, make sure you know who is verifying things in their bank account. Make sure you can go through and check on it. And whether or not you have a power of attorney, if they give you access to be able to look at it, make sure you're checking to make sure that there's no out of ordinary expenses, no large withdrawals from a bank for cash. Well, if there is, hey, Mom, why did you go ahead and withdraw $2,000 in cash? You don't need that. All your bills are paid for. What did you need that for? And start tracing back on things and seeing what could be the reason before it becomes something big. That way we can go ahead and keep it small.
Absolutely. Joe, I tell you, you are tremendously gifted in what you do. You've done a great job at Leon County Sheriff's Office for a number of years, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to have you working in financial crimes now, because I think you're one of the best out there doing it. So thank you, and thank the team in the Leon County Sheriff's Office. Just ahead in our Deputy on Duty segment, there are hundreds of homeless people in our community. Coming up, we'll show you how our deputies work to connect the homeless with social service providers. Stay tuned.
On this week's Deputy on Duty, we introduce you to the Homeless Outreach Street Team, known as HOST. It's made up of two deputies, Bernie Hernandez and Paul Pacioli.
Our real office is out of our vehicles, and that's kind of like where we operate. It's a mobile office for us. We got our supplies packed up.
HOST is the boots on the ground, connecting homeless individuals across Leon County to services and referrals for already existing programs and services through agencies like the Big Bend Continuum of Care, which can help them gain employment, housing, alcohol, drug treatment, food, and other needs relating to homelessness, like those supplies packed up in the back of their SUVs, grooming kits, socks, and even food that's provided by agencies like the Salvation Army.
With people experiencing homelessness in this community, they're excited to see us. They ask the other service providers when we're coming out. So it's been really good to build those relationships and build the relationships with the service providers.
The Leon County Sheriff's Office launched the HOST unit back in June. The deputies hit the ground running, visiting what they call hotspots around the county, like homeless camps, libraries, public facilities, and businesses where homeless individuals are known to congregate.
There were a lot of barriers that needed to be overcome. So our job has kind of evolved a little bit, and it's allowed us to be a little bit more efficient and effective in our overall goal, and that's to try to get people the services that they need.
The deputies say these early months of groundwork is crucial. They're working to build trust that's been broken when it comes to law enforcement, and that face-to-face contact is reassurance that when these deputies roll up to meet the homeless and unsheltered, they're not in trouble. They're here to help.
We have the 3 E's: to educate, encourage, and enforce. And we always start with the education, just letting people know, hey, this is what we're about, this is what we're doing, we're offering services. And then, of course, our education, our encouragement is the repeat visits. So we come out here and say, hey, I know we talked about this and this, where are you at? So just having somebody engaging with them and just kind of letting them know that, hey, we're very much on your schedule, but we do have the timeline that we're working towards, that kind of keeps it fresh in people's mind and heading them, in a certain direction.
And while the process is slow, Host is making great progress, meeting folks where they are and when they're ready to move forward. A major part of their job, again, is forming a relationship built on trust, understanding, and small wins that make a huge difference.
The group together that we have, this outreach group, between CRC and Kearney and Ability First and us, and going out and engaging and continuing that follow-up, just continues that, hey, are you ready? Are you ready to start the paperwork? Are you ready to start the process? And it's, no, I'm not ready, or no, I'm not quite ready. And some of these ones that we've been engaging with, multiple times over the last, since we've been out, are finally starting to say, hey, you know what, I think I'm ready to start that process.
The Big Bend Continuum of Care estimates there are more than 600 people in Leon County who are currently experiencing some form of homelessness. For Host, that means there's no quick fix to the problem, but what they do know is they're committed to making a difference in their community.
The Sheriff's Office has given us the opportunity to go find these people and see, hey, are you hurting? And I will tell you that, sometimes people just need to be told that, hey, there's somebody that cares about you. I mean, the first time I told somebody that, they cried. I just want everybody to know that we are a compassionate community and our mission is to help people.
Sheriff, we always get so much good feedback whenever we talk about our Host unit because they have done so much and they haven't even been around that long, but they are making strides when it comes to helping our homeless population.
Well, they absolutely are. I can't tell you, Angela, how many compliments I get each day from citizens who see and interact with our Host deputies. And the fact is that we have an experiment going on, quite honestly. The county asked us to look and see how we can have interventions with the homeless population and come back in about 6 months to a year and give them an idea of what that looks like. And I can tell you our deputies have done a tremendous job, just 2 of them out there working as hard as they possibly can, and the hundreds of people they've made contact with. And it's a difficult job. You've got people who are homeless, then you've got people who are sheltered but still in between, you might say, and you've got so many mental health problems out there. So we are trying to engage the community and make the community aware of this problem so we can start working on solutions. And I will tell you, the Leon County Sheriff's Office is not the solution, but we certainly want to be engaged in how we come up with a solution as a whole community.
And another thing we need help with, I know we as an agency took part in the turkey drive with Big Bend.
Oh yeah,
Second Harvest
Love
with Big
that.
Bend.
Love that. Yeah. Anytime we can get our deputies out working in the community, particularly we have so many people during the holiday season that go without, and to have our deputies out there rounding up turkeys, if you will, and delivering those turkeys to the homeless population and citizens. I guess we did that with Second Harvest.
We did Second Harvest of the Big Bend and ABC 27. So we donated 50 turkeys, and the big message here is that it's just not this time of the year. We need help all year round.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we want to share with you part of that message that we want to hope that you are all in with us as an agency and give back to the community. So stay tuned for this PSA, and you know what? We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Commence Operation Cold Turkey.
10-4 Sheriff, the SWAT team will be en route.
Operation Cold Turkey was a success. Congratulations to our staff.
What we know right now in Leon County, just like across the entire country, inflation is impacting families that maybe even 6 months ago weren't struggling to make ends meet. So as the cost of living increases, the cost of food increases, the cost of gas increases, families that were once able to make the ends meet each month might be struggling right now. And we really want to make sure that, especially during the holiday season, families aren't having to make really difficult choices about how to spend their money.